So I went to the casino for lunch today because I certainly needed a break from all this. And I was at the buffet. There was a lot of cheese and eggs and butter and milk at casino. And then suddenly Sirloin came up next to me again, once again. He's like, hey, what's going on? Can you move out of the way? Yeah. I'm like, what's going on, Sirloin? He's like, I heard your president is getting out of the hospital within 24 hours. That's really good news. I said, yeah, it is great news. Well, have you got your stimulus? I'm like, no, we have not got our stimulus yet. Well, why not? I said, because Mitch closed the Senate. I mean, now that the Senate's closed, we can't have a law to give us a stimulus. It's sort of crazy. And, no one understands why Mitch won't do remote voting and didn't prepare us for remote voting. I mean, we should all be doing this by Zoom. You know what Zoom is, right? No, I'm a cow. I don't do Zoom. I do Move. Moov. Oh, instead of Zoom. What is that? Well, it's Moov instead of Zoom. And basically, it's get out of the way unless you give me my stimulus. Maybe I should try that very soon. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is LALATE, and I hope you're good and safe in a day in which everything needs to be moved out of the way very quickly. It needs to be into your pocket right away. If you've not subscribed to the channel, go to the front of the channel and subscribe, because who else is going to bring cows to the herd to herd your comments and graze on what needs to be tipped over at Larry Kudlow's office. Also, like this video because it could be the most comprehensive video you're going to have today about hazard pay, FPUC, and all those wonderful other things percolating on the simmering sheet of stuff that is not being done by this White House. Let's get to the breaking details, which I'll be covering in this video. Coming up in this video, I will be going over what Pelosi had urged the airlines to think about going into this weekend. And are we supposed to now throw away all those comments by Pelosi about a deal is imminent now that the president has COVID-19? Second, what happened to the notion that nothing should be standalone, everything should be done together because everything will be done very quickly? Is the timeline still there for your stimulus check to be done very quickly? Third, what happened to the respect for frontline workers? Suddenly, frontline workers are much of nothing in a weekend in which frontline workers, apparently really helped the president and his medical condition. Finally, I will be trying to help you get hazard pay in other ways, not only in this bill, but also from state and local. These are the breaking details which I'll be going over. Additionally, with 9 other of your questions from yesterday's video I will be covering. This is Afternoons LA, and in this video is a continuation of check from before, but also I'll be going over hazard pay. After this, 30 minutes after this, is unemployment benefits. Please tune into that. If you are unemployed or getting unemployment benefits, I will explain to you how to get more of it. And then 30 minutes after that is the big hit show that you love, Pelosi versus Mnuchin. It comes back again tonight. Or this afternoon. All right, let me get to the breaking details. First, Pelosi urged. We went to this weekend with Pelosi saying, hold up, move on out. I'm getting your stimulus package done quickly. We were told on Friday that a deal is imminent. That was her word, imminent, and that it could be hatched by Sunday. Okay, today's Sunday. I've been detailing everything about the president, and the president's here, and the president's there, and he's coming in, he's going out, and all that. But where's Nancy Pelosi? I understand she tested negative on Friday, but no word from her office, no word from Mnuchin. And you have to understand that this is very disconcerting because this is coming from a person who has been categorically evasive since July about giving you updates about anything. Remember, this is Pelosi and Mnuchin who are slammed from everyone from Maxine Waters to members of Congress about not getting things done. Okay, now that the president's coming out of Walter Reed within the next 24 hours and going back to the Oval Office, are these people going to be on hide and go seek still? to not give us updates about the situation. Pelosi had urged airlines not to shut down operations, cut routes, fire hundreds of thousands of employees before October 1st. Well, October 2nd actually was at that point, because she said a deal is imminent. Well, today's October 3rd. The airlines have now fired those people, and they said this is inadequate, what has happened here. The question is, she gave us promises. Is she standing by these promises, or are these much of nothing once again? False promises from elected officials. Second, how about standalone versus together? Pelosi had told everyone on Friday that she wanted a standalone bill for the airlines to get them fast-tracked outside of the stimulus package, which was totally different from what she had said the entire week. So now is she trying to throw us under the bus again and do a standalone bill for the airlines, much like she did a standalone bill for the post office, or is she trying to keep the airlines in the stimulus package and get it all done together? It's not reassuring that the White House, which is dealing with a lot of crazy stuff in the last 24 hours, on Friday had said, no, we're changing course also. And they said it on Thursday additionally. We're changing course, and now we may consider to do the airlines as a standalone bill. Viewers of this channel were irate, as respectfully so. The airlines are people who've come out of the 11th hour to say, I need stimulus, give me stimulus, and everyone's saying, get behind us. We've been waiting since March and April for our stimulus. You need to get behind us. Not that you don't need stimulus, it's just we're first. We've been waiting for a while. Next, frontline workers. Well, what are frontline workers supposed to do? You know, someone had a really good comment earlier today that said, you know, if you look at Heroes Light, Nancy Pelosi's bill that passed the Senate, the House on Friday, it seems to take out more of the American people's money and put more into the federal government's pockets. Gone is hazard pay. How and why and in what logic did Nancy Pelosi remove hazard pay from her own bill? She has still not answered to the American public why she took out hazard pay. And ultimately, the person who claims that children going hungry is her focus, well, how do you expect the parent, mom and dad, or married couple, or partners that have children that worked as essential frontline workers that were waiting on that hazard pay since it was introduced into HEROES Act 1? What do you think they're going to say to Nancy Pelosi when you say children going hungry? Well, now my children are really going hungry, because I was expecting $10,000. Under HEROES Act 1, you were supposed to get $10,000 if you worked as an essential worker, a frontline worker, whether an Uber, Lyft driver, or a receiver, a shipper, a truck driver, a maritime worker, a security guard, a maintenance worker, a cleaning person. $10,000. It was going to be calculated $13 an hour based upon the number of hours you worked from January up to the present. If you hadn't reached that threshold, you would continue to get paid. You'd also have safeguards in the workforce to make sure you would be safe going forward. If you made a lot of money in 2019, you would get $5,000. But either way, you would get a lump sum in your bank account right away for how much money you had reached under this $13 threshold add-on. It was incredibly great news. And it was not the only hazard pay bill that was out there. There were others. And so she chose to go with hers and put it in her bill. And then over the months that passed, she didn't talk about it. She didn't reference it. She made no mention about it. She went silent on it. And when it debuted, and when HEROES Act Light debuted last Monday, it was gone. And she acted like it never was there. Millions and millions of Americans will never forget it. There have been countless viewers that watch hazard pay on this channel every day. It is one of the most watched videos of this channel. And they will never forget that this woman had put hazard pay in there and taken hazard pay out without any explanation why. But my focus has always been getting you money. And so that turns to the fourth topic of the day, which is other hazard pay. There is other hazard pay I can get you, and there's other hazard pay I will get you. And so let me turn to that. There is 3 types of other hazard pay, which I'm going to get to. And someone asked me a few days ago, well, what's going to happen with the hazard pay video now that she's taken out hazard pay? Oh, first of all, that's just a bill. It's not a law. That's the first thing. If you think that hazard pay should go back in the bill, you should be on social media tweeting the problem solvers, tweeting the Blue Dogs, tweeting the Democrat coalition, saying, why is hazard pay out of a Democratic bill? That's a Democratic provision. Put it back in. Take out the money for the salaries for the judiciary. Take out the money for the salary increases for the Treasury. Take out the money for the salary increases for the Department of Trademarks. Put money in for the citizens. Put back in hazard pay. It doesn't cost a lot of money. Put it back in. You still can do that push, and I'm supporting you with the push, and as the Purple Power will do that with that push. But I'm still going to get you the other hazard pay money. So let's turn into that right now. There's 2 other hazard pay items in this bill, and there's other hazard pay outside this bill. First, the bill has an essential workers provision that they get a grant with a lot of money if they apply. First, the definition of the essential worker is narrowly tailored. It's not as broad as the original hazard pay. Second, it's a grant, so it's not tied to the number of hours you work. Third, it's not applied to by your employer. You go and get it, which is absolutely great news. Fourth, it's money that would come right to you right away, so we would not have to deal with the whole lag time of an employer. How much is it? Not very clear. Who would be administering? I think it was CDC. How much money caps could you get? Not clear. Then, the second one, EIDL grant. EIDL grant is coming back. So if you worked as an essential worker during the pandemic as a frontline worker, and that work was as an independent contractor or a sole practitioner, you can get an EIDL grant if your business was impacted by COVID-19, which undoubtedly it was. And this is categorically great news. So EIDL grant is coming back in the hazard pay, in the Heroes Light bill, assuming it becomes law. Next, let's turn to where things are locally. And locally, there is 2 other forms of hazard pay. I told you I was going to have 3, I'm going to have 4. There is both local public hazard pay, publicly administered hazard pay, and then local privately administered hazard pay. First, there's $150 billion from CARES Act 1, which is being dedicated locally for hazard pay across the country. The way it works is that states were given $150 billion under CARES Act 1 to administer cities and counties in their state for COVID-19 issues. Those states are then supposed to give it to the cities and counties. And now, after months of having the money, they're just starting to send out the money. Yeah. And so what they're doing is they're giving it to the cities and counties, and there's a deadline looming. And that deadline, as a result, is requiring them to start spending or losing the money, use or lose. And as a result, they're spending money on administering hazard pay like bills if you worked as an essential worker during the pandemic, and that you can go get that money. They're also doing that for rent, for food, for stimulus, for everything that you would think about. So the way you get it is you go on Google News, and you look for your city plus grants plus perhaps CARES Act, and then do it for your county. If you see no results of news stories, do it again in a few days and continue to do it. This is where these grants are. It's a lot of money and you need to do it. I've had some wonderful, wonderful comments from viewers who said, thank you. I did what you said and I found it. Ultimately, there are cities and counties across the country. And with so many viewers of this channel, I can't look up every city and county across the country for you. It's impossible for me to do. If I do hear something that applies to a lot of people, I will certainly post it for all of you to know. So this is incredibly great news. 4 possible paths for hazard pay. 1, EIDL grants back in the bill. 2, a grant program in the bill that are for frontline workers but narrowly tailored. 3, local city and county grant programs for hazard pay. Okay, there was a 4th I said. The 4th is your employer. A lot of employers are being pressured to pay hazard pay. They don't call it hazard pay, but they call it bonus pay. And it's important to have this discussion with your employer, perhaps as a group with your fellow employees. Businesses that are unionized are doing this better. They're turning to union leaders to really force employers to pay hazard pay if you're an essential worker, especially in the grocery and the pharmaceutical industries. But if you're not unionized, it doesn't make a difference. Have this discussion with your employer about giving you a bonus pay because you worked as an essential worker. Also, reach out to a local union that might be similar to the type of employment you do. So if you work in a liquor store, and you're not unionized, reach out to the grocery union in your area for help. They may step in and help you negotiate for some hazard pay. Let me turn to some of your 900 questions from yesterday. Rolion Hampton, love the name. Our government has stiffed the American people, period. Patricia just sent an email to the president. Do executive order for stimulus. I love that. Lisa, it's hard to be optimistic when nothing's getting done. Well, that's not the way we do life, Lisa. Let me comment about that because that's very anti-purple power-ish. We only celebrate when we get exactly what we want. Well, in life, do you only look optimistic when the thing is done? And that throughout the rest of your life, you're negative? An example is, say you're doing a puzzle on the floor, and you're going to be in a bad mood until you get the puzzle done. And it's hard to be optimistic when nothing's done. Well, when the puzzle's done, then you're optimistic. But when the puzzle's not done, you're pessimistic. That's not a way to focus on in life. Carolyn, I'm not going to be calm. Mr. President, sign the executive order, please. Smiling face. I love that. Paul Cooper, it's time for the president's executive order. Amen. Efron, people are just tired of this. Just vote them all out. Joey, I'm praying for the president and the first lady. I'm also praying for executive order. Go Purple Power, North Carolina. Hello, North Carolina. Paulette Richardson, he should do it now. Jay Lally, I'm not sure I saw in the president said get it done. Yes, but I mean, that's the importance of staying with me I understand this comment, it was 20 hours ago. And at 20 hours ago, it might have had some value. But it's important to tune into me on every broadcast because even at the time the president made that comment, it was, it was a pep comment, but it was it had no value to it because the Senate had been closed. Get what done? There's the Senate closed. You can't pass a law. Joni Maxwell, come on, President, do your executive order. Margaret, Mr. President, sign the executive order. David, honestly, it's a shame our government's arguing. Deborah, if the president does the stimulus check now, he'll get voted in. Almost everybody will vote him in. Otherwise, I don't know. I know. If he doesn't do a stimulus relief, he does nothing, absolutely categorically nothing for stimulus executive order, and we go into the polls. Do you think he's going to get reelected? I don't think so. Absolutely, categorically not. Kevin Gross, my mental stability can't stand much more. Oh, don't say that. Ryan Toomey, I'm not surprised. They got paid to do nothing. That's very well said. Samuel, Mitch McConnell should bring back the Senate for a stimulus package and stop the dog and pony show. We will put them out. I love that. Stephen Hill, back and forth Congress, still playing games. Callie, now let's do a downplay of voting. I've lost everything, so I'm not voting except for myself. No, that's anti-purple power. If someone pisses you off in office, you don't not show up, you don't stay home on voting day, then ultimately what's going to happen is the person who pissed you off today is reelected. You have to go to the polling place and vote against the person running against that person who pissed you off. White Witch, everything is so crooked. Lacey, Trump should do it now. Sandy, please, Mr. President. Victoria, I knew we wouldn't get anything with a bad game. I'm so pissed. Michael Bailey, believe me or not, I do hear all of you people. I'm in the same boat. I lost my wife a year ago. Now I'm losing my house. Sold my good vehicle. Now I have a beater. I also take care of two people, savings depleted, credit card balance max. I draw Social Security, so the three of us live on that. It's really going to be hard to vote for a clear conscience. No, I don't trust the government, but I love my country. What a gas is that I received an email to donate for a campaign. I said, no, you need to work harder and contribute your own money for your campaign. We the people don't have it. That's what I have to say. Please stay and stray song. Don't beg. I hurt too. I love that. Peter, thank you for your comment. I adore that comment. Peter, good luck to all those who've lost everything. I feel for you. Janet Guido, does anyone in the House or Senate going on a break or in isolation? None of them deserve a raise. Far North Woods. I mean, that's a really great comment by Janet. Just because Mitch closed the Senate doesn't mean they're going into self-isolation. It's insane. You close the Senate and they don't go into self-isolation? Disclaimer, I use the expression close the Senate because I use simple terms for you. What I mean by close the Senate, I mean he's closing the Senate floor. He's putting the Senate on recess. You will see the Senate subcommittees are in session next week to do work on the judicial nominee for Supreme Court. That is not the Senate in in session. That is a subcommittee. So I know I'm going to get some comments to say, oh, the Senate's open because they're doing stuff for the judiciary. No, the Senate's still in recess. I can just expect 500 comments because I understand it's very, very complicated. Ricky, they need to be on their butt. Michelle, those congressmen return their salaries. The Senate Congress has failed the country. Pat, Kelly Hooks, good evening, Purple Power family. James, an OG of this channel, good evening after late. And yes, things almost changed by the hour. James, the original OG of this channel. Wayne Nation, I'm sick and tired of this. Victoria, good evening, Purple Power. JP, they all sit at home and get paid while we while we struggle. Joseph, I'm positive it doesn't matter that they're all out of here. Let's vote them all out. Well said. If you have questions in today's video, go to the front of this channel, subscribe. You see how we're doing this. You see how we're getting through this together. It's a concerted community trying to focus and get to the finish line. And we will. It takes time. Go to the front of this channel also like this video. Coming up next is FPUC, unemployment, UI, and all that and more. Stay tuned for that, especially if you're on unemployment. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay with LA for more.